Dr. Salman, please. Dr. Sayyid Tahir is with us, and I'm handing over this mic to Dr. Sayyid Tahir to uh, further further this discussion on, please.
Okay,
Dr.
thank you very
Salman,
much.
please. Is it okay?
Okay, go ahead, please.
Assalamu alaikum. We are taking over from Islamabad for the next 5 or 10 minutes, please. This is Sayyid Tahir from International Institute of Islamic Economics, Islamabad. We welcome our brothers at other stations for this program. The main speaker for this program was Dr. Saifuddin Tajuddin. And then I was approached, but I had another commitment. I'm just coming from that class. So I've been asked to say a few things which may supplement what Dr. Salman has already said. In fact, what Dr. Salman has said represents our thinking also. We share a lot of things. I may just add, our concern is mainly Islamic economics as a social science, which has both a micro theory and a micro theory. This topic, this particular session was about microeconomics and macroeconomics from Islamic point of view. Microeconomic theory related to behavior of individual economic agents and institutions, and also summing up the things, how various decision making interact and fit together. This is all the area of microeconomics. And macroeconomics is about the overall broad view, the environment in which micro economic units operate. And at the macroeconomics level, we are concerned with major parameters which influence the micro behavior. So this is how I see the distinction between micro and macro. Now coming to the Islamic economics side, what has been done in this regard? For that you have to keep in view the history of Islamic economics. Islamic economics still does not have its own systematic theory. Allow me to say this, and this is a bitter fact. Islamic economics started in 1976. Our seniors followed issue by issue approach, and they mainly took up the challenges, development, financing, poverty, those issues which are major problems faced by Muslim countries. And main contributions came on those sides. So on the basic theory, not much work. It has been offshoot of some mainstream work. On the micro side, our contributions which have come, people writing almost parallel to the writings in a standard microeconomics textbook. The topics, not single individual has the privilege or honor to address all the issues. X wrote on consumer behavior, Y wrote on producer behavior, Z wrote on market structures. Even someone else wrote on sector classification. So different individuals touching the microeconomic subject at different points. So we don't find any cohesion in the cohesive development of the microeconomic theory from Islamic economics point of view. But what little has been done is mostly retouching what is already available, with providing some addition of Islamic input in the existing economic thought. This is very clear in writings on microeconomics. For example, theory of firm, standard conventional assumption is maximization of profits. But we have, for example, Dr. Najatullah Siddiqui saying very early on, the firm will be pursuing north. Why? We are not told. Dr. Mutwalli said firm will maximize profits as well as its expenditure on charity. Dr. Alam bin Jalali said firm will maximize both its own profits and also aim at increasing the level of output from the society's point of view. So we had some alternative working hypotheses and some writings of this sort. Basically, it is not very important to discuss in such a seminar all the details. We are talking about direction. Your departure is very minimal. We still haven't been able to define the basic analytical framework in which all discussions are supposed to take place. Systems such as Islamic economy, such as the transactions matrix which will be in vogue in the Islamic economic system. That has, for example, crucial implications. Take the case of this transactions matrix, financial transactions in particular, prohibition of riba. Your loan-based activity becomes secondary. So now with the new situation, definitely there will be implications for theory of firm, how financing considerations will translate into decision making by firm. So we still have to do some homework on the grassroots level in the microeconomic side. There are some isolated discussion on distributional issues, but still not integrated issues. So we need to clarify our conceptual framework, and then believing that Islamic economy will be a market economy, we have to go deeply into the details of demand side, supply side, and behavior of markets under various situations, like the individual firm acting as a price taker or as a monopolist, etc. We have also later on, all this comes at a much later stage. If Islamic economy were a market economy, how it might reach its equilibrium. We have some hopes, expectations. The economic agents having interdependent utility functions, objective functions, but still the work at the analytical level is needed. Similarly, on the macro side, there have been quite a few writings, most of them finished by the late 80s. And finally, notice this thing, this is something very important. Writings on macroeconomics which are available from Islamic point of view, they go back mostly to the 80s. There is a very little work after the 80s. In the 90s, hardly any new articles from the theoretical point of view. And incidentally, this is the phase 90s when Islamic banking and finance, there have been major developments. So whatever was written before this advancement, that was mainly migration from standard macroeconomic thinking at the simple level, at the ISLM level, at the aggregate supply, aggregate demand level. So in most cases, the variables have been renamed. There are a couple of papers, you can say, doing original work, defining the goals of analysis and then working out what will be the variables to focus on and then developing modeling around that. There is, for example, one paper by Abbas Mira Khor and Mohsin Khan, an excellent paper which gives basic point for having the financial structure of Islamic economy. But when it goes to the modeling, actual modeling side, specifying the behavioral relations, again, we don't find much difference from the mainstream macroeconomics. Mostly you observe the rate of interest is renamed as rate of return. In some cases, even profit sharing ratio. So this is the state of knowledge in microeconomic theory and macroeconomic theory from the Islamic economics point of view. I hope my few submissions have been addition to what Dr. Salman has already said. Thank you very much. So back to Jeddah, please.
Thank you very much. I'm giving microphone to Imam Sadiq University. If they have any question or any comment, or Imam Sadiq University, please. Iran, are you hearing me? Imam Sadiq University, Iran. Do you hear me? Now it is turn for Markfield Institute. If you have any question or any comment or anything.
Assalamualaikum, Dr. Salman. Just a quick question. Is it possible you could email us your notes for the presentation today? Because we couldn't get all the notes down as you spoke, so, and your diagrams and such. Is that possible?
The diagrams, inshallah, I can scan and send it to you. But all the notes, it will be difficult because I have actually over here in Saudi Arabia today and tomorrow we are here. We are here until next Wednesday. Next Monday, okay. Okay, it's possible. I was thinking that maybe we are closing after this week, but if it's possible, I will email the notes, the diagram at least.
Okay.
And what I really want you, more than the notes, is the can you see this book? Can you focus on that? Okay, I'll show you over here. I'm sure that people at Islamabad are familiar with this book, and I'm just want to make sure that this is available with Markfield, and it is also available with Imam Sadiq University. Do you have this one? Raise your hand if you have. Just raise the hand. That this book you have seen in the Markfield Institute. I'm seeing you all on my screen. I can. Okay. So, Lectures in Islamic Economics. This contains very old papers, which were presented in 1987. Although, as Dr. Tahir said, that different people have approached the subject differently, but at least by reading, going through again those papers, what I felt that at that time people have put an effort. Whatever innovation they brought in. For example, if you look at Dr. Fahim Khan's paper, now when I read it, and when I read the comments that people have given on the paper, we see that there are many mistakes. But that paper went very well. At that time, came in this publication, was published in a journal as well, and was able to create more things later on. So unless and until that kind of zeal and that kind of activation is revived, Islamic economics will not grow. Similarly, the paper by Sayyid Tahir in that on income determination, you name many papers like in this, or all old papers. Section 4 is on microeconomics, theory of consumer behavior in Islamic perspective, Fahim Khan, factors of production and factor pricing by Abdul Hamid Junaid. Similarly, the theory of optimal investment decisions by Rauf Azhar. And then coming to macroeconomic function in Islamic framework, a survey of current literature at that time of Saf Ahmed. Saving and investment in interest-free economy, Waqar Masood Khan. A contribution to the theory of determination of aggregate output income and income inequalities in Islamic economy, Dr. Sayyid Tahir. These were some examples. So this was from the past that students should go just to look into what people have done, although they are full of mistakes, but it shows that within a year, in 1987, how much literature was produced just within a year, or just within a conference for teachers training. The second thing that I want everybody to go into is this Journal of King Abdulaziz University, the recent issues. Most recently, the 2007 issue. There are two issues in 2007, the most recent one, and it is available in the internet. If you search through the King Abdulaziz, the Journal of King Abdulaziz University in Islamic Economics, you will find. And the comments made by Masood Alam Chaudhary, by Najatullah Siddiqui, by Fahim Khan, and by Saifuddin Tajuddin on a year-old paper by S.S. Zaman has created a new debate. And if some students start following that and start trying to build something new, there is a scope that at least a consumer theory from Islamic economics can be started, or people can start thinking on that. Similarly, in our past lectures, one of the lecture by Sami Swelem was on complexity. Although he was talking about the complexity theory as such, and in which he just gave examples of one consumer behavior, one example from investment theory, etc. But that is another area in which people can build on, and you will need investment of time. It is not just a week's reading or a month's reading or 2 months reading will be enough. You have to spend about 6 months or 7 months or maybe a year, because a huge amount of literature is currently coming out in the conventional economics on that issue, which is not in the mainstream. But if you go in any big university website and you try to see what students are getting, although there are no textbooks on complexity theory so far, no textbooks, some textbooks on new institutional economics, but new institutional economics and the complexity theory. These are the two areas where if one puts some investment of time, I think within a year or two, you will be able to get something fruitful.